Dean Smith and Jack Hartman were friends. And there were two great guards in the state of North Carolina at that time. One was Mike Evans, and the other was Phil Ford.
And we had already recruited Phil Ford, and we didn't like to over-recruit.
My hunch is he was afraid he'd lose him to Duke or North Carolina State or Wake Forest.
I couldn't believe that anyone was, nobody was recruiting him. And Jack Hartman called and said he was looking for a point guard.
And Jack Hartman got out there, saw him play, got him to Kansas State, and then he turns out to be the all-time leading scorer in school history.
Nobody really knew that much about Mike Evans when he showed up here, but the minute he stepped on the court, his intensity and his quickness.
I had just left the basketball program, and Chuck Garrett and I get over there and play with him, and they came in as a freshman and a leaper, and I think he came down on a jump shot and jumped over me. And I'm like, whoa, this guy's gonna be a player.
I remember his first game as a freshman. He scored 30. And so I knew then that he was definitely someone that was very, very special.
Mike was an incredible scorer, but Mike also played incredible defense.
Mike Evans was an outstanding defensive player, worked really hard on both ends of the court.
And I'll never forget, he broke his nose his freshman year, and Jack Hartman went home digging around in a closet, found an old face mask that Jack had worn when he broke his nose as a player at Oklahoma State, put it on Mike, and I think Mike scored 16 points the first night he wore it.
That was a problem. And Mike was less effective because of that mask. You know, he played and he did his job, but he was hindered by his vision.
He made a jump shot off the left wing right at the start of the game, and just seemed to kind of do wonders for his confidence.
Mike Evans is probably the best jump shooter I ever saw him play for K-State. He could really get off the floor with a shot. I don't think I ever saw anybody block one of his shots.
I don't know if you could search the world high and low and find anybody with a more uniform jump shot. I mean, that form was virtually perfect.
God knows what he'd have scored if they had a three-point line.
That's something you always kind of wonder about, and you wonder how he would have been defended if there was a three-point arc, because without the arc, people would think, oh, he's not going to shoot it from that far away. Well, he did, and he made them.
I think not having the three-point line is what made him amazing, because the distance from which he shot the ball wasn't defined by 19.9 or 20 feet. He would just shoot the ball. He would shoot the ball from 25 feet. When he was in the flow, Mike Evans could stroke it from anywhere.
I played 4 years with Mike, and I saw Mike give the ball up a lot, work the ball around, support other guys to score. But Mike was just so phenomenal. You know, you get him the ball and he's going to score. If he gives it back to you, look for him coming around on the other side. You know, people ask me if I was a point guard or a wing guard, and I always have to tell them, well, it depended on where Mike wanted to be.
Mike Evans, along with Chucky Williams, was a duo that I don't think has ever been seen since at Kansas State.
You know, it's fun to watch big guys. It's fun to watch the dunk. But when you see guards shooting it and scoring it like those two did, you know, that's ultimate fun.
You know, I think before they came and became known as, you know, the Purple Pop Gun Twins and whatever other nicknames that were attached to them, you know, Jack Hartman was always recognized as this disciplinarian and run the regimented offense, but it showed you, I mean, if indeed he was, he knew when to change when he had shooters that could fire it up from that range, and it was wild watching them bomb away.
They put together would just dumbfound defenses, because they would stretch defenses to literally the sidelines and out past the hashes.
No, I couldn't imagine playing with another guard at that time, because the beauty of it was it took pressure off of myself, it took pressure off Mike, so it made things a little bit easier. And it freed us up, because the defenses had to scramble to try to cover one or the other.
You couldn't guard him, really. I mean, if you were uptight, he'd blow by you. If you stepped back, he could be 30 feet away from the goal, and he was going to shoot it, and more times than not score. when you combine his skills as a shooter with his athleticism, I think he was probably a decade or so better than everybody else, if you will.
Good, there it is. Mike Evans has broken the all-time Big 8 scoring record